Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to math. Last class we started covering the quadratic formula. We started off with the discriminant, which was a little part of the quadratic formula. Makes it easier, right? Make it easier to combine it all together. Today we're going to continue that, combine it all together, solve for it, okay? So if you guys remember, last class we covered the discriminant formula, which was b squared minus 4ac. That was the discriminant formula we used last class. Today we're actually going to put it all together. Today we're actually going to cover the rest, which if you guys remember, the rest of the formula is negative b plus or minus radical of the discriminant over 2a. Okay? It looks confusing. I know it kind of does because it's a lot of variables in there. Okay. Again, this is why I chose to do discriminant first, then the actual formula all together. Makes it a lot easier. Notice I have an equation up here, which is x squared minus 5x minus 14 equals 0. Always label, guys. Makes it a lot easier. Okay. So let's label it. Notice that there's no number here. What's always there when there's no number? A 1, right? There's always a 1 there. So there's a 1 here. We know the 1 is going to be A. The negative 5 is going to be B. And the negative 14 is going to be C. Because that's the way quadratics are labeled. Okay? Now that we have it all labeled, we're going to start off by solving the discriminant. Makes it a lot easier. I'm not going to just plug it in all together because you guys are probably going to get lost. It's going to make it's probably going to confuse some of you. Again, let's start off with the basic stuff. b squared minus 4ac. So we have b squared. So if you have b squared minus 4ac. We know that b, in this case, is negative 5. So we have negative 5 squared minus 4, because the 4 stays the same. A, if you remember in the equation, A is 1. 1, and then parentheses again, the C, which in this case is negative 14. All this you covered last class. We did a few of them together. We did one together, and then you did a few by yourselves. This is just pretty much a review, the first part. So we have negative 5 times negative 5, which is 25. Minus 4 times 1 is just 4. And negative 14. Okay? Notice that we have two negatives. We cannot combine the 25 with the 4 because we multiply the 4 to the 14. So we have to do 4 times 14. They're both negatives, so you know they're going to become positive. 4 times 14. I'm going to go ahead and solve it for you. If you still don't know, your answer is 56. So we have 25 plus 56 equals 81. Okay? So your answer for the discriminant was 81. If we were doing last class. Now that we have that, all we have to do is, instead of writing this again, all we have to do is plug in 81. So let's rewrite the equation. Okay? We're going to take a little trip to another board. There we go. Now, we rewrite the formula again. We have negative b plus and minus. Looks more like a weird looking letter. So let's do b. Looks a little better now. Radical. If you guys remember, what was the answer we had instead of b squared minus 4ac? Which was 81, right? That's what we solved for. 81 over 2a. Now that we have that, again, if you guys remember, what is b? B in the equation. Well, let's take a look at it. If you remember the original equation, b was negative 5 and a was 1. Because remember, the bottom you need the a and you also need this b. So negative 5. Notice we have a negative and a negative. That means that two negatives become a positive. So now we're going to rewrite it as 5 plus and minus radical of 81 over 2 times 1. We're kind of almost done, okay? We leave the 5 because we cannot do anything to the 5 yet. So we have 5 plus and minus. Notice that now we can break down that 81. We have a perfect square root for 81, which in this case is 9. So we have 9 over 2 times 1, which is 2. Okay? We're almost done now. We're almost done. I know it's a little bit of work, but now all we need to do is just solve for this. You might ask yourself, how do you solve for it? The way you solve for it is, we have to break it down into two different problems. One with 5 plus 9 and one with 5 minus 9 over 2 on both of them. Okay? So we have one problem that is 5 plus 9 over 2, and the one that has 5 minus 9 over 2. Because we're trying to get rid of the plus minus. Okay? So you have 5 plus 9, which in this case is 14. 14 over 2, which technically becomes 14. Well, 2 can go into 14 7 times. So one answer is 7. And then 5 minus 9 is negative 4 over 2, which becomes negative 2. And that is your other answer. So your answers are 7 and negative 2. And that's how you solve. So here's your assignment. Alright guys, so here's your assignment for today. I have one problem up in the board. Notice I only gave you one because I know it's kind of a little bit of work. It's not that hard once you plug it in, but it's still a little bit of work. So I'm just going to give you one. You have to solve for it completely. Give me both answers. Hint, hint guys. Try solving for the discriminant first. Makes it a lot easier for you once you're inside the radical. Then solve for the rest of the problem. Okay? Just like the example we did on the board. Solve for the discriminant. Then plug it in. Okay? Makes it a lot easier. Trust me. If you have any questions, guys, make sure you send me an email. Okay? I'm here to help. Also, make sure you submit a picture of your notes with your answers. And I'll be waiting for your email.